Hey guys, how's it going? So I don't know if y'all have seen this yet or not. Depends on what order I put videos up, but well, here you go. This looks like my 4710, don't it? Well, no, it's not. It's this is, can you see it? A 5711 Dyna 4. Maybe you can see it better over here. Yeah, there you go. I don't know why I didn't do that to start with. Yeah. So this is a little bit bigger tractor. It's 110 engine horsepower, but it's not much more PTO horsepower than my 4710. I think it's about 90 PTO horsepower. I could be wrong on that, but anyway, I hadn't looked up the specs, but well, not recently. But I wanted to go over it a little bit and look at it while I had it here. It is a demo, but it has the FL3819 loader on it, so this is a bigger loader than my 4710 has on it. But I think the 4710 can handle this loader. But I don't have a loader this big on it. It does have the European coupler on it. I've got an adapter on it, and I have a skid steer. I have an adapter from European to skid steer. I have a skid steer style spear on it. The hood is more sloped on this than it is on the 4710. I'll be comparing this tractor to the 4710 because that's what I have. That's Massey. It has a little more of a sloped hood, and it also has those screens in the hood that my 4710 does not have. I really like the way this loader is designed with the rounded edges, and I've always liked this design on my 4710. This design for the self-leveling arms. So this is a self-leveling bar right here. It's actually capped over top of the frame of the loader, and here's the mechanism that keeps it level, keeps the spear or forks or whatever level, and it doesn't have another bar up here to block your vision. It's all kind of made into one, and that's nice. And the loader comes off easily by pulling this pin out and unhooking the hoses, but you do have to put these stands down, which that's pretty typical. My John Deere has stands too. The tires on this are the rears are the 18-434s, and the front's the 14-924. And if I bought this tractor, I would have front fenders put on it. I don't like having the open wheels because it throws stuff all over the cab. It don't have a third function valve on it right now, but I would have one installed, and it is an electro-hydraulic. It's just a diverter valve. It does not have a live third function. Massey does not use those on these size tractors. They may get on them on the bigger tractors, but on these size they stick with the simple diverter valve, which works fine. It has the buttons like the 4710 to control the lift out here. One thing the 4710 does not have is cab suspension. That's what that right there is. It has 3 remote outlets. I wish they would go ahead and put the flip caps on these, because these things right here, these little plugs, are just messy. You pull them out and you let them hang here and get dirt all over them, and then you shove them back in there and shove all that dirt in there, because you forget to get a rag and you're too big a hurry to go get one, so you just shove all that dirt back in there. It's not a really good situation, but it does have 3 spools on it, just like the 4710 I have, and one of them is flow control right here. Here's a light plug, windshield washer. These are pretty massive arms compared to my 4710. One thing I don't like as good The 4710 has like a slide and a pin type deal where you can just choose a hole and put the pin in it. It's really quick and simple. I'm trying to get some light in here for you. This one has, you pull this pin out, and I've seen a newer 4710 like this also. You pull that pin out, and then once you get the arm out here where you want it, once you get it on your implement, then you have to sit here and trying to get where you can see, you have to sit here and screw this thing until this hole in this part right here lines back up with this. So you have to sit here and screw and screw and screw until it gets all the way till the holes get lined up again. And it takes quite a bit of time. So I don't like that. And I guess it's maybe stronger. Sorry about the shadow the camera's making from the light, but I guess it's stronger maybe in theory, but I like the slide pin deal. You know, you just slide it where you want it, and then you line it, and then it's got a bunch of holes in it. Square tubing with bunches of holes that telescope in and out, and then you got a pin you drop in. When you find a set of holes that are lined up, you drop the pin in and you're good to go. But anyway, this tractor does have 540 shaft installed. It also has 540E speed that you can choose in the cab, and you can change the shaft to 1000 if you got a 1000 implement like my mower, and you change that in the speed in the cab once you change the shaft out here to the other spline. Halogen work lights. I don't know why they don't even offer as an option from the factory to put LED work lights on these Global Series tractors. I don't know why. I mean, that should be standard equipment nowadays. LED lights, come on. I switched the ones on the back of my 4710 to LED. It made a world of difference. I need to do the front ones. The lights on this tractor here are not very good. I just watched a video on a Dyna 2 tractor from Farmberg Implement, and the dealer installed LED lights on it, and that was pretty cool. They put a light bar on the front and 2 LED lights on the back, and that was pretty nice. But as far as I know from the factory, you cannot get these Global Series tractors with LED lights. Here's your def tank. It is bigger than the 4710 def tank, so it should last longer, and maybe it would hold a whole jug of def when you get low, but my 4710 don't. It'll start beeping and you can't even get a half a jug in it. That's kind of irritating. So it's got telescoping mirrors. Here's your exhaust. The muffler is underneath the tractor, just like the 4710. And right here's where you disconnect the loader. It does not have a quick detach setup. It does have a holder for a quick detach already mounted on the loader. I know what that is because my T5 New Holland tractor had that on it. And actually this loader is built by Quickie, which built the loader for the T5 tractor that I used to have, and probably will never own another one of those if I can help it. It does have loader lights, and then it has cab lights, all halogen, and lights in the hood, all halogen. The steering, don't tell anybody, this isn't my tractor, but I did adjust the steering stops because it wouldn't steer very sharp, and I needed it to steer a little sharper doing running the hay rake. And you can adjust the steering stops right there. Let me get a light. Hold on so you can see. I'll be lost. Right here's the steering stop, okay? Right there, that bolt. But the main thing about that steering stop is you want to jack the front wheels up and where you can articulate the axle, and you want to steer it all the way left and all the way right and articulate the axle as far as it can go both ways, and make sure you have about, you know, like a 1/4 inch of clearance from everything. Spin the wheel, make sure it doesn't hit anything. But anyway, you can adjust these tractors where they steer pretty tight and still not hit anything. So that's basically the outside of the tractor. I hadn't even looked under the hood, but I mean, obviously there's an engine under there and an air conditioner compressor and an air filter and some, you know, it's a whole lot like the 4710. I see the 2 fuel filters here. The oil dipstick's on the other side. There's the AC compressor. You can see it right here through that screen. I can see the air cleaner right here. I'm not going to go under the hood. I'm going to go in the cab. It does have 3 steps to get in. 4710 only has 2. Here's a fuel tank. I don't know how much it holds. I have not looked at the specs. Basically, the cab is just like the 4710, except it has a flat floorboard, completely flat. The 4710 has a little bit of a hump. I'm talking like this much. You don't really even notice it, because the cab is kind of dropped down to make it a little bit lower cab height on the tractor to get in places easier. Here's the view. You can see the hood's sloped a little more. You wouldn't notice it unless you run a 4710 a lot. The hood is longer, but it's sloped more. You can see the loader connections from here pretty good. If you look down the side of the hood, you can't see over the hood and see like a set of forks or something, but you can look down the side and see okay. Steering wheel's the same telescopic tilt. I love the steering wheel position on this tractor. I don't know why, it just folds down and fits me really good. I like it extended way out and then really low. I don't know. I like the position of the steering wheel better on these tractors than I do my John Deere, which just kind of leans towards you and back, and it telescopes, but it leans instead of this one has like a joint right here and it bends down to you, and I like that better. They did move something right here though, because this tractor, when I put my hand here and I try to move when I have the steering wheel where I like it, like I have it in my 4710 most of the time, some reason this lever rams into the signal light, or my hand rams into the signal light. You see right there, the signal light stalk, wham, it actually hits the horn button. In my 4710, I don't have that problem. So they've moved something. I don't know if it's the joystick or the steering wheel, or it has to do with the cab not having the little hump. I don't know, but they moved something. So anyway, that's something to think about. The remotes are exactly the same. The throttle is exactly the same. The throttle button is exactly the same. This right here is a preset button, kind of like on your radio dial. You like your favorite radio station to be, I don't know, 99.9. I'm just, you know, that's not my favorite radio station. I listen to Sirius XM, but you know how you can set your preset and you just hit the button and it goes to that station. Well, this thing is the same way, but it's with engine RPM. If you like to run the tractor at PTO speed, which is I think 1950 or 2000 RPMs, you can set this up to the speed you want it to be, 1950 or 2000 or any RPM. I'm just using 1900 or 1950 or 2000 as an example, because that's the typical speed that you run the PTO at to get 540. But you run this up to begin with to where you want it, then you hold this button in just like your radio, and it'll go beep and say you're locked in. You can then now just pull this back to an idle, or you could set it to a different speed, different engine speed. Say you need 2 different engine speeds for something. Set this at your lower speed and this at your higher speed. So then when you hit this button, the engine will automatically go to the speed that you preset. And it tells you that preset, so you'll always know what it is. Oh, this thing has a temperature outside temperature gauge right there also. That's pretty cool when you turn the key on. 69 degrees. All right, right there. See the auto? It's set for 1530 right now. I never did change it. Or I had it set for, yeah, I did change it. I set it for 540E while I was running the tether, which you can put in right here. And if you're doing two different engine speeds, set this at the lower one, set this at the higher one, and then like when you get to the end of your row or whatever, and you want to drop the speed back, hit that button, and it turns the auto off, and it'll drop the engine back to whatever this is set at. Make your turn, whatever, at your headland or whatever. Then you can, once you start back in to doing whatever you're doing, hit the A, and it'll go back, rev back up, continue on with your work. That's one thing, neat thing about that. But one not so neat thing that there might be a way to program this out of it, but I have not figured it out yet. I can't find it in the menu, and I don't have a book. So for some reason on this tractor, if you touch the brake pedals, both brake pedals, to stop, it automatically turns the auto throttle off. And I do not like that for most situations. I mean, I'm sure there's a situation where you would want it to do that. Probably. Maybe. I'm having trouble thinking of one. Okay, but anyway, the reason it's not a good thing is, think about this. You're running a round baler, you have the auto throttle button pushed, and I think auto throttle also helps with engine governing, because it seems like if you set the engine speed with this handle here, the engine will pull down quicker. It's like the governor doesn't respond or something, or the computer doesn't tell the engine, hey, you're getting a load under it, try to stay at the same RPM. If you use this auto button and set it at a certain RPM, it's more like the computer says, okay, they got it set at 2,000 RPMs and I'm starting to feel a load on the engine. We're going to try to make the engine stay at 2,000 RPMs as long as possible. And it seems like the tractor has a little bit more power if you use this button. Okay, so I'd be using this button. I'd set the speed, engine speed at whatever it is for 540 PTO, right? You got this button pushed in, you got this one pulled all the way down to an idle, because, you know, when you got to the field it was idling, and you hit that button, rev the tractor up. All right, you start baling, you get a full bale, beep. All right, you got to dump this bale. I'm going to stop. I got to stop, right? I got to hit the brakes. All of a sudden the tractor goes idle. Wait a minute, that ain't good. I got a full bale and it's trying to wrap, and all of a sudden the tractor's idling. That wouldn't be good. And also, the thing I was having trouble with, I got a lot of steep hills, okay? So I was running auto throttle, I had it set, and I was running a tether. Well, I'm going down this super steep hill, okay? Well, the tractor, you know, the weight of everything's pushing the tractor. So it's speeding the engine up too fast, so the PTO is over speeding. It's getting up to like 650. Well, that's too fast for the PTO. So what do? You just apply a little bit of brakes going down the hill to keep from overspeeding the PTO. You're not going to overspeed the engine in 540E before you know, I mean, you'll blow whatever you're pulling apart back there if you overspeed the engine and 540E, because the PTO will be running like 1,000 RPMs. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I hit the brakes, and all of a sudden, next thing I know, the tractor's idling going down the hill. And I'm like, this is the first time I found this out. I'm like, what the heck's going on? So I'm like, well, I don't know what happened, but I hit the auto button and it revved back up. And I'm like, well, maybe it was just a fluke. So maybe I just hit the button or something. Next round down the field, I start going down the hill. I'm paying attention this time. I hit the brakes, tractor goes, Nyeh. Oh no, that ain't good. The 4710 I have does not do that. So I'm sure maybe there's something you can set. Maybe it's something the dealer can change in the computer. Maybe it's something I could change if I had the owner's manual, but just keep that in mind if you're looking at this tractor. This is a really nice tractor. It's just a couple little things like that that's kind of strange. Most things are the same. This button here is the same. The PTO button, it still is 3 position. You got on, off, and PTO brake, which I don't use very often. I don't see any reason to wear it out. Now, if I need the implement to stop fast, I'll turn it on, but then I'll turn it back off. It also helps when you hook up an implement back there. Most of the time, if you leave the brake off, you can turn the shaft by hand with the engine running. So I done told you it has the 540E. It has 540, 540E, and 1000 PTO speeds. It has a creeper gear, which allows the tractor to go extremely slow. You have a whole nother set of gears. This is a 16-speed transmission. Well, when you do this, you have 16 gears at a whole lot lower speed, so it actually makes it a 32-speed transmission when you do that. It's kind of like a transfer case on your pickup when you put it in 4-low. You know, all the gears still work, but you go a whole lot slower. It's the same difference. And one nice thing this tractor has is brake to neutral. You push this on. It's a spring-loaded switch, so the switch always stays off. That way, when you turn the key off and restart the tractor, it automatically turns itself off at the restart. What that does is allows you to stop the tractor by just pushing the brakes, and you do not have to push the clutch. Everything can be in gear. You can be going along. Let's say you're going to set a round bell on a trailer. You pull up to the trailer, hit the brakes, and the tractor will stop without even moving your left foot or touching the shuttle lever. This is a hydraulic combining switch. This tractor has 2 hydraulic pumps, one to run the rear lift, and then the other one runs the loader and the spool valves. Now, with this thing switched off, the loader is painfully slow. Let's just take a look. Let me close the door so things will be a little quieter. All right, now this is this normal idling. All right, this is as fast as the loader will go. Okay. So now you want the loader to go faster, right? Okay, we'll go over here. This combines both hydraulic pumps. Basically, it takes the flow away from the rear lift, which you don't need typically when you're running the loader. But I mean, the lift will still work as long as you're not moving the loader at the same time. Do you notice a difference in the sound of the tractor? Listen. Can you hear it? It's a little different. All right, now watch the loader now. See that? Much, much faster. And especially if you rev the engine up. See how fast it moves? Now, that being said, I don't really like that setup. I don't like having to flip a switch if I want to choose speed for the loader. And it also makes the tractor a little noisier in here. It's a little more buzzy with that switch on, I guess because it's flowing so much oil through changes so much oil and starts sending it through this loader valve. The 4710 doesn't have something like that, but the loader is just as fast on it. So I guess it's just something about this transmission. It has to have dual pumps. I don't know, but that's the way it is. With this tractor, you get a few more features. With the lift arms, you get a quick raise button. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, you get, this is a quick raise button. It's right here on the side of the control. This is electronic draft control lever, or the EDC, or the lift arm control lever, whatever you want to call. This is the this is what operates the lift arms back here. Okay, so the 4710 does not have this button. This is a quick, what I'd call a quick raise. You just hit the button and it'll raise the lift up, or you hit it this way and it'll let the lift down. And I think you put it in the middle for neutral, but it works. I've tried it. It works good. You have some more functions up here. You have a raise speed, a lower speed, and then the 4710 actually does have this. This is draft control, with draft sensitivity control. And then you have this button here, which is linkage soft ride, or suspension, linkage suspension, I guess you'd call it, lift arm suspension, just like the loader suspension. It has loader suspension. I don't know if I can demonstrate it or not. It is on right now, but you can see how the loader, it's on. Let me turn it off. All right, see how it bounces the tractor when I do this right here? I'm letting the loader down and just stopping it abruptly, and it's making the whole tractor bounce. All right, I'm gonna flip this switch right here, on that little switch on front of the lever. That turns on the soft ride on the loader. So now I'm gonna do the same thing, and you can see that it no longer bounces the tractor. I'm gonna drop the loader, and it just kind of, the loader bounces instead of the tractor. It puts an accumulator into the hydraulic system that takes the shock, is what it does. And it's turned on and off by an electronic valve, which is controlled by that switch in this handle right here. Now, what else can I show you? Okay, you got four-wheel drive and differential lock. These are spring-loaded switches. I'm going to tell you, a lot of people get confused by these switches, by this four-wheel drive switch anyway. And why they done things the way they done them, I don't know, because the 4710 is just like this. If you push this button one time on this tractor, the four-wheel drive indicator comes up right here, and you see there's an A on it. See that A in the middle of it? Okay, on the 4710 it looks like that, but there'll be an A on it. Okay, that means auto four-wheel drive. That's that's what it goes to if you just push the button one time and you push it again and it cuts it off. Okay, well, if you have it in auto four-wheel drive and you push one brake pedal, if the brakes aren't locked, it kicks the four-wheel drive out. Now the thinking is it helps you to steer sharper. Okay, let's say you wanted to steer to real sharp and you need to use the brakes to turn sharp. It cuts the four-wheel drive off so you can steer sharper, because you can steer sharper without four-wheel drive. That's the idea behind it. But most people aren't used to something like that, and sometimes you'll like be going on a steep hill or something, and you're trying to keep the front end up the hill, and you'll mash the brake pedal trying to help, and it'll turn the four-wheel drive off, and that just makes things worse. So typically I like it locked in four-wheel drive, just like a normal tractor would, like a, you know, be locked in four-wheel drive. Just not auto, just stay in four-wheel drive. Even if I push one brake pedal, just stay in four-wheel drive, right? You can do that on this tractor and in the 4710, but what you have to do is hold this, just push this button in and hold it, and then, alright, I held it in for like 3 or 4 seconds. See the difference? Now it's on solid. It does not have the A on there anymore. And the 4710 will have a light that looks just like that comes on without an A on it. That's how you do it. You have to hold the button in, okay? So in my opinion, they should have done that the other way around. They should have made it to where you push the button once and it locks in full time. And if you wanted to use auto, which most people don't use auto or don't like auto, but if you wanted to use auto, then hold the button in, and then it'll go to auto, you know, advanced mode, an advanced feature. That's the way my brain works. You know, most people know to push, any operator knows to push the 4-wheel drive button to get 4-wheel drive. But if they get auto 4-wheel drive, it can get them in trouble. If they push one brake pedal and they're going down a steep hill and then it goes in 2-wheel drive, it can take off on them. You know, to me, it's a safety thing, and I would rather see it the other way around. I like having the option of auto, but make it the advanced feature that's hard to get to by holding it in. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so enough of that. Next thing you got up here is you got the lights. I don't know that you can see. There just ain't a lot of light in here, but there you go. You got the light switches and the wiper switch. Up top here, you got the air conditioner. It looks just like the 4710. They got a Bluetooth radio in here that does not pick up anything, so I don't know what's wrong with it, but it don't pick up. It's got the updated air conditioner vents. It's got the longer neck on them. My 4710, all of them looks like that one. No, it's just a flat. It does have Vizio roof. I love the Vizio roof on the Global Series tractor, not so much on the S Series tractor, because the way the air conditioner is set up, it's all behind your head and it's really noisy on the S Series tractor, which is a high premium tractor. This is just a low spec tractor, according to Massey Ferguson, even though these tractors are really nice, I think. The dash on this is a little different than the 4710. Obviously you have your gears, and you have a screen over here that tells you, I'm sorry this video is getting kind of long, but you have a screen that this one you can change how hard your transmission shifts, forwards, reverse, or gear shifts. This screen is battery, voltage, hydraulic temp, and engine temp. This screen is to set your clock and the brightness of the dash. And we'll go back here. This screen right here tells you your fuel consumption and DEF consumption. And then you have an area counter. You can put in a width, like if you're pulling a 15-foot batwing, you can put in a width, and it will keep up with how long you're using it and how many acres you are covering, or how many acres per hour you're covering, and how many gallons per hour of fuel you're using, or how many gallons per acre of fuel you're using. I'm sorry. Here in this screen is where you set up the width of your implement. It has a really nice fuel gauge, DEF gauge, oil pressure gauge, and engine temperature gauge in the middle. Also your time, and yes, it is 9:46 p.m. I need to be home and in the bed. And then you have a tachometer. Down here are the buttons that control it. You have like a 4-way keypad, a home button, and an OK button, and a enter button. And then you have your 4-way flashers and your lights. Okay. Over here you have your shuttle, but it does do, I'm going to take it out of park, which right here is your parking brake. You'll see it come up in here, neutral. I don't really like that. I wish it would tell you what gear the transmission is in without having to actually put it into gear. I wish it would just say like it is right there, 3A. But one neat thing about this shuttle is you can change gears on it. Okay, I'm going to hold the clutch in so it don't move, but alright, it's in 3A. If you want to go to 3B, and I know it's backwards, the 3 is the range. To me it's backwards, I say. Anyway, typically I would think A, B, C, and D are ranges, and 1, 2, 3, and 4 are gears. But this tractor, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are ranges. A, B, C, and D are gears. So if you want to, it's in A gear. If you want to go to B gear, you can push this up, and look, it's in B. If you want to go to C, you push it up, it goes to C. You want to go to D, push it up, it goes to D. You want to go back down, gears, you can pull it back down and you can see the gears dropping, okay? And it beeps at you to let you know when it's at the end of its range. I'm holding the clutch in, so if I pull it down again, it'll drop to 2 range, 2D, 2C, 2B, 2A. It's hard for me to count backwards in letters. If you're in reverse, it'll do the same thing, except when you pull it backwards, it speeds up the gears, so it's the opposite. And you push it forwards and it goes down gears. And this T-handle does the same thing. In forwards, when you push it forwards, it jumps the gears up. You pull backwards, it brings the gears down. And in reverse, it's reversed. In reverse, you pull the stick backwards to speed up, okay? So you got to keep that in mind. Now, if you want to change ranges, there is a button on the end of this stick. So when you're driving anywhere, whatever, and you get to the end of the range, like right now it's in 1D, if you're not pushing the clutch in, it will, or if you don't have this in neutral, in other words, you're moving, and you try to go to range 2, it'll just beep at you. It won't let you do it until you push this button in. Once you push this button in and then push it again, it'll go to range 2. And if you want to go to range 3, you do not have to go through the gears in each range to change ranges. Say you're in range 2, gear A, and you want to go to range 3. All you have to do is push the button in and push it, and it'll go to range 3 without shifting through the gears. So you can shift the whole range whenever you want, no matter what gear you're in. And that's nice. One more thing here that I thought about, there is an auto shift button. It's off right now, but it has an auto shift power mode and an auto shift economy mode. And all it does is, let's say you're in range A or in range 3, it just shifts the 4 gears. It shifts A, B, C, and D according to the load on the engine. Now in power mode, it keeps the RPMs up a lot higher before it shifts. In an economy mode, it keeps the RPMs a lot lower before it shifts. So in other words, in economy mode, when it gets up to 1200 RPMs, it'll shift to the next highest gear, and it gets up to 1200 RPMs or maybe 1400 RPMs or something like that, it'll shift up to the next gear. And in power mode, it'll get up to like 2000 RPMs before it will shift to the next gear. And then if it gets to the top of it, let's say you're in range 3 and it gets to the top gear, D gear, and you're trying to go faster, you have to manually shift. Well, it's not really manually because it's just this little T handle, but you have to push the button in and shift to range 4, and then the automatic stays engaged and it'll shift A, B, C, and D in range 4 for you. Which is a nice feature if you're running on the road a lot, pushing snow. I like automatic transmission when I'm pushing snow in the 60/30. That way I don't have to think about shifting gears, it does it for you. So I think that's covered about everything about this tractor. It does have a buddy seat, which I always get a buddy seat because I have kids. It has a little storage compartment right here. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's where the radio, that was the radio faceplate. And it does have the upgraded cup holder here, a little storage tray. Has opening windows on the side, which is nice. This is a recirculation vent. You have a cab light lamp, interior mirror. You have another shallow cup holder over here. They won't hold anything, I'll just tell you now. Here's another little cup. And yeah, that's basically the whole tractor in a nutshell. You do have a cover for this in case you have a really hot sunny day and there's a lot of sun beating down on you. You have a sunshade, you can pull that down. These things can let in a lot of heat, so they do give you that, and I think the back side of it is white so it doesn't attract the heat to this cover. Oh, I didn't talk about, here's the signal lights, and you turn the wipers on and off by twisting this. You got a washer by pushing it, and then you have a horn. So all right, that's basically the whole tractor, what I know about it anyway. And I hope you enjoyed the video. It got kind of long, 40 minutes. Geez, probably done lost everybody by now. But all right, I appreciate y'all watching, and we'll talk to y'all later. Hope you have a good one, and we'll see you next time. All right, I know you can't see me, but here I am walking in the dark back to my truck. I'm in the shed. One thing I wish they would put on that tractor is courtesy lighting, like the John Deere. I know it don't have to be fancy. Just put a timer on it that leaves a couple of the work lights or all the work lights on for, you know, however long you want, a minute or so. Maybe that's just a R series John Deere thing, but I tell you what, it really makes a difference this time of day when you get done working. Trying to get out of your shed in the dark can be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, even an interior light that comes on with the door would be helpful. Those tractors do not have that. Now, that being said, I do really like that tractor. Massey Ferguson does not pay me to demo their tractors. I have to buy them if I want one. So I'm just giving you my honest opinion of it. I really like that tractor, but I'm probably not going to buy it because let me turn this on. I just think it's not quite big enough for my operation now that I've got a bigger mower, bigger tedder. I mean, it pulls the tedder fine, but it can't pull my new mower. And I'd like to have a tractor that can pull my mower, pull my fertilizer spreader. So I have two tractors that can do the big work. You know what I'm saying? Right now, I just have the one John Deere that I have to switch it around a lot because it has to do all the heavy lifting around here. I can use my dad's 60/30 that I push snow with, but you know, it's my dad's and I don't want to wear it out doing hay. But anyway, I like the tractor, but it's probably going to go back to the dealer. There may be another bigger tractor coming. Problem is the price tag's a lot bigger on it too. But they're going to let me demo it, even though I told them I'm probably not going to buy it. This dealer is not the dealer that I had trouble with before. I've completely cut ties from that dealer. This is Boone Tractor in Salem that I'm dealing with, and they've been excellent. I recommend Boone Tractor. Logan Boyd, go find Logan Boyd at Salem and Boone Tractor and buy your tractor from him. He'll take care of you. Buy your equipment from him. He you know, he does the best he can to take care of you, and he has hooked me up with these tractors, and I appreciate him a whole lot for helping me try to find what I need. And I just turned around because I forgot to get some. But anyway, I'm tired. I'm going home. We'll see y'all later.